So this is kind of overdue. My collection's changed quite a bit. I feel like you'll notice pretty quickly that my main interest is no longer the same one that it was in my last video. So for a period about 5 years, I was mainly into this indie RPG adventure visual novel called Your Turn to Die, and my current interest is the shonen battle comedy manga Sakamoto Days, so it's a little bit of a difference, and you'll see that reflected in like the types of stuff that's in my collection now. We're gonna start up here at the art wall. This one hasn't changed that much. You'll still see across the top the little string of clip lights that hold assorted knickknacks and prints. So the first piece is a commission of my original characters, Azuzu and Frost. These two are, I feel old when I say this, they're like gajinkas. I still don't know how to pronounce to this day, but essentially they're anthropomorphized Pokemon. So if you can kind of tell, Zuzu on the left here is an Azumarill, and then Frost is a Frostlass. The next one is an official piece of merchandise. It's a clear file of Marnie and Gloria from the Pokemon Center JP online store. It kind of looks like they're on a date, which is very cute. That's why I got it. This little gummy drop keychain was from a friend. These next two, one's a sticker sheet of Gengar, and the other one is like a little print featuring some shadow types following around Red from Pokemon Red. And then on top of it's a rubber strap. These are the characters Matsuri, and I think his name is Bonnie from Demon Slayer. This is a print of Geeta and Rika from Scarlet and Violet. So Geeta's my favorite character in that game. Yes, they did her dirty with her writing and her Pokemon team, but like her design, her character design, they knew what they were doing when they made her. Very attractive. There's like a little Geeta keychain that a friend got me. It's fan merchandise because there's essentially zero official merchandise of her, which is such a missed opportunity in my opinion. She just deserves so much more. I think I talked about it last time, but there's this Pokemon YouTuber that I used to watch a lot when I was younger called TTarTube, and he kind of makes like clickbait theory videos nowadays, and one of his theories was that the Elite Four from Scarlet and Violet would become essentially the Team Rocket of the game, which, yes, sounds crazy now looking back on it, but back when he was making the theories, the DLC hadn't come out yet, so like it was valid of him to make that theory, and it got me super excited because wouldn't that be fascinating to have a region where the bad guys like run the Elite Four, they run essentially the government, even if it's for morally gray and not necessarily like bad guy reasons. I mean, we've had morally gray bad guy teams in the past in Pokemon, so if the writers of the games wanted to add some more depth, they very well could. And yeah, evil Geeta, that only makes her hotter, okay? Don't blame me. Don't blame me. It's just the truth. Below Geeta, we have another commission. This one's of my Pokemon original character, V, who's a Vileplume. Beneath this print of V and Hydreigon, or King, another one of the characters on my OC team, there is a cutout of, let me get this right now, Nicol Bolas from Magic the Gathering's good aligned brother. I think his name is Eugene. He's like a blue dragon type guy that one of the gremlins drew me. This next keychain is of a character from an indie death game visual novel. This one's called Wolf's Game, and it is not translated in English yet. I got this keychain because this was at the height of death game popularity in the States, and I really thought that it would be getting an English translation at some point, but the train's kind of passed, so we'll see. But this character is very cute, and I have read the synopsis of the story of that game. This next print is of Izuru Kamakura from Danganronpa 2. What a crazy time to be alive, because I don't know if you keep up, but they announced a remake of Danganronpa 2, the second game in the series, and it looks like they are going to be writing like some kind of alternate rewrite story. We don't know yet if that's going to be like the new canon and replace the old story, or if it's just going to be some kind of alternate universe thing, but Kodaka is supervising it, and it says that they're going to change the victims and the perpetrators, so we'll see like how that affects the story. I'm very intrigued, but also I've had this on my wall for years, so it's just kind of a remnant of that. This next one is a commission of my original character 1. This is from a post-apocalyptic story that I would still like to work on today. Above it is a strand of origami paper cranes. This next keychain is made of the little plastic stuff that you can draw on with Sharpies and then cut it out and bake it and it shrinks. It's like shrinky dink plastic. The characters featured in this keychain are my original character MC, who is the kind of purplish sheep character, and then my friend's character Midori, who is the green cat character. To the right of it, we have a postcard. This is artwork from one of the cards, I believe, from Magic the Gathering. One of the gremlins got like a package of Magic the Gathering art postcards and let me have a couple, so I chose this one as one of the ones I wanted. It's an evil looking librarian monster, which kind of just resonated with me since I grew up with Night Vale. It just feels so right. Next acrylic keychain is a Kaede Akamatsu keychain that kind of looks like those good luck charms where you can put a little slip of paper in. This one is a charm for happiness, which I think is very apropos because Kaede, she's a character that if you just see her, it brings a massive smile to your face. Followed by maybe some tears, but a smile first. And then this one's of Trafalgar Law, who's one of my favorite characters from One Piece. And then below it is a piece of art of Femme Law, which again, the author knew what he was doing when he drew that. It's artwork by my friend. This next one is a rubber strap of Suzuya Juzo from the series Tokyo Ghoul Re. This is noticeably black-haired Suzuya because that is the best version of him for multiple reasons. The postcard behind him is one of the first new pieces on this strand this time around. This is a Doujin inclusion, so it came with one of the fan books I bought. It's fan merchandise, a postcard of Nagumo, Shishiba, and Osaragi from Sakamoto days, and then this is like a little sticker of Shishiba and Nagumo on top of it. This next print is of Dante, not from the Inferno, but pretty close. Dante from Limbus Company, and then all the sinners being kind of like chain sucked onto him. Limbus Company is a gacha game. Usually when you play gacha games, the gacha part is the hard part of the game. For Limbus Company, like I don't even know what I'm doing when I play the fights, and people love to make jokes about like haha typical Project Moon fan, which is the game company that produces the game, not knowing how to read and not knowing how to play the game. It is a skill issue, but also genuinely it's not intuitive. And the fact that a lot of how each of your runs goes depends on luck or coin flipping to see if a character lands an attack, it's a little rage inducing. Like I'm not smashing my controller or anything. I have it on my computer. There's no controller, but like I'm stuck on one of the bosses right now, the Orca, and then the friend that got me into the game told me it only gets worse from there. So, like, I haven't touched it in a couple months. But there are some very pretty characters, and the fans do those characters so well in fan art and fiction. This is a little metal Moomin bookmark that's too pretty to use in any book. And then this is a little Stussy print of the character from One Piece. We're currently getting kind of more glimpses at the original Stussy. It's been funny. She's also very pretty. This one's like a remnant from my One Piece video, which it's still insane to me that I spent one entire month straight rereading One Piece and then one entire month straight editing that video. That video was so long. Worth it though, and I've been kind of keeping up to see how my theories are holding up. But yeah, this next one is an acrylic charm from the same artist who made the Limbus print of the Limbus Company character Yisong. Probably my third favorite character from the game. I really wanted a Dante one, but they were sold out, so I just got Yisong. Well, the little charm on top of it is of the character MC from Obey Me. This is what my original character is based off of. MC is like the self-insert character of the game, so you're kind of encouraged to project your own feelings onto her, but she's very cute. And then this print underneath it is of Shishiba and Nagumo from a different fan book. This one beside it is also a print of Shishiba and Nagumo from a different fan book. I actually got rid of this one, the fan book that came with this print, because I wasn't a fan of how it depicted Shishiba, who is a character that puts up with so much bullshit. I just feel like he deserves a little more respect. To the right, we have a acrylic photo card holder that I have a Chikawa character photo card in. It's kind of like a pre-decoed photo card holder, essentially. A very cute idea. Above it's one of my favorite acrylic charms of all time. This is my Safalin from Your Turn to Die acrylic charm. Now, I didn't actually know that resin yellows, so I've had this acrylic charm for so long. It's from Ghost Potion Art, by the way, if you want one of your own. I've had it so long that it's starting to become like yellow because the resin is aging, which makes me kind of sad, but also to be loved is to be changed, right? That's super cute. I used to bring it everywhere. Now she just kind of stays at home where she's nice and safe. This next one is a Teto print. Teto is a character that I associate with the Your Turn to Die character Ranger. They have very similar story arcs to me. Now, if you're familiar with the canon material for both characters, you might be like, what is this guy talking about? But essentially, they're characters that kind of became who they are versus having that identity given to them. So when I can't find Ranger merchandise, because he's like a smaller character, I can easily find Teto merchandise anywhere. Across the top here, we have the first official merchandise set of Your Turn to Die doll buttons. This is half of the, well, yeah, it is half the set that was kind of themed after collab cafes. They weren't from an actual collaboration cafe for the series, but they're kind of themed with stuff. For example, Safalin has a straw and Gashu has a glass. Those are the doll buttons from that set. They didn't have any other characters because this was released before those other characters were introduced. And then below it we have this Joe and Sarah print, which was an official artwork bonus, I believe from one of the volumes of manga in Japan. And then these two prints are some of my favorite pieces of art in my entire collection to this day, especially this piece. This is an art print that came in the merchandise bundle for the English Your Turn to Die fanzine that was themed around seasons. I just adore the way the artist depicted and characterized these characters, especially the massive size difference between Miley and Sefalin, which that's canon to me, and the way that they're so peaceful together. They're some of my favorite characters of all time, and I just think they deserve happiness. And this one is from the same artist. They drew this piece as an entry to the Draw This in Your Style I hosted based on the non-SKDY festival sketches. So this is the dolls at the festival, just so pretty. This piece of artwork on top is the first business card I ever made for my shop. It's a little doodle of Kana and So from the Your Turn to Die game. Down the side of the lanyard we have this string of buttons. This is the second set of Your Turn to Die official merchandise buttons. So at this point they had introduced the dummies and the other dolls. So this is half of the doll and dummy box set. I got the entire box set and then I kept the ones that I wanted and got rid of the ones that I didn't want. So we have Miley, Ranger, Sefalin, Gashu, who has a tiny ranger on his shoulder, which very nearly almost made me cry the first time I saw that. And then we have Meister, who I very much consider a doll, and he was the extra special button that you got as a bonus if you got the entire set. So we kept those. I did not keep Maple or Midori. One, because I don't really consider Midori a doll for reasons, and then two, because those are characters that do not make me happy. So these are just my beloveds that I kept. And to the side here we have some commissions from Kel. This one's of Sefalin, that's a chibi, and then she's themed on nori or dried seaweed, which is a snack I associate with her, and then Chibi Miley, whose outfit is themed on beer peanuts, which is a snack I associate with her as like the little chili spicy ones. Alright, so moving on to the art wall. I'm just kind of gonna pan around, but you'll see that there's a mix of fan art and official color spreads and magazine covers for the series Sakamoto Days on here. There is one piece of One Piece art, which is one of my favorite color spreads. Luffy is my favorite character of the series, and it's just so nice seeing him up there with the rest. Like, our boy made it, really, he did. There's a little bit of Blue Lock on here as well because I really love that series. And then there is one single postcard of Laura from Katseye, which is an official postcard. It came as like a little purchase bonus from an album that I bought on Mercari secondhand. Yep, I'll just kind of pan around, but these pieces are from various artists, and if anything catches your eye, just let me know and I'll try to dig out who the artists are for you. These covers are from the Sakamoto Days spin-off, Sakamoto Holidays, which is probably one of the best spin-offs of all time. I love that when the main series gets kind of sad and dark, the spin-off's able to be very cute and fluffy and kind of heart-mending. I definitely think some series like Witch Hat Atelier, which does have a fluffy spin-off for this exact reason, in my opinion, really benefit from this style of like bonus content. Sometimes it's hard, like you want a story that's in depth, but it's hard because you actually care about these characters and you don't really want to see them suffering for eternity because the series comes out weekly or monthly and you just kind of have to like wait as they go through their trials and tribulations. It's nice to have like a little bonus something to get you through. Sakamoto Holidays does that brilliantly. The artist slash writer was one of Suzuki's assistants for the main series, so I think he really, you can tell he loves the series and he just does all these characters so good. One of my favorite pieces that I have on my wall is this one spread from Holidays of Sakamoto and a cow riding their bikes and just having so much fun. One, he knew exactly what he was doing. Two, this kind of destroyed my soul because it's one of those, this is what we could have had. This is what we could have had if mental health was a thing for assassins moments. This is a new bookshelf that I actually got because it was on massive sale last year, so I just kind of built it for excess storage. Don't look at me like that. It's definitely not an excuse to buy more books. So it's not completely full yet, but I'll just show you what's on it right now. First, on the top shelf, we have the first two Katseye albums. So Katseye is a new K-pop group. So I had a phase a couple months ago where I wanted to try to get into K-pop because I loved like some aspects of the fan base. I love how supportive they are and how much community there is. I will say I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of things surrounding the K-pop industry, especially like the ultra consumerism and the promotion of this kind of idea that is done on purpose by the companies that own these businesses, that celebrities know you and are your friend on a personal level as long as you like spend tons of money on them and go to all their shows and stuff. It's very much a predatory business model. So I'm just kind of hesitant to support these massive companies. So I got these albums secondhand, but I do enjoy the music and I do enjoy this particular group because I love how diverse they are and it's kind of sweet. It's kind of nice to be a fan of something. Look at how large this volume of the photo book is for Beautiful Chaos. It is humongous. It does not fit vertically on any one of my shelves, and I have some that are like pretty tall, and that drives me kind of insane. The first album, Soft is Strong, is the purple one, and that's also not the same size, so it just kind of looks awkward being stored here horizontally, but I don't have a choice because I have to store the Beautiful Chaos album horizontally. And also, if you notice, the purple one's spine looks like it's partially cut off. That was another marketing design strategy to try to get fans to purchase both the pink version and the purple version of the album, and together they form the full words Cat's Eye. Unless you're a Taylor Swift fan, is there a single artist where when they drop an album you feel like compelled to purchase 2 copies of the album just to have the full experience? Unless there's different songs on the CD, I just kind of find that it's a little bit late stage capitalistic. I could sit here and talk about this all day because some of the issues surrounding the K-pop industry are not issues that could be addressed in a 2-hour video. You would need at least double the time. But I'm not going to get too into it right now. TLDR, I kind of like this group Katseye. It's kind of cute. And then across from that, I just have sitting here my Your Turn to Die official merchandise clear file. This is the clear file that came with the soundtrack CD if you purchased it when the Chapter 2 one came out. I have considered getting rid of some of my merchandise for Your Turn to Die, but I'm just kind of keeping it on hand for now. They're going to be incredibly overpriced / impossible to find on the aftermarket if the Your Turn to Die fever seizes me again, so we're just going to keep it here for now. This is Sarah on the front with all the participants, and then on the back is a piece of artwork of Alice and Reiko. So on the bottom half of the bookshelf, this is kind of read novels and manga overspill. So we have Circe by Madeline Miller. I really enjoyed this novel. Atomic Habits by James Clear. That one was a gift. The next one is The Soul of an Octopus by Cy Montgomery. This is actually nonfiction, and it's the most recent novel I completed. It's so good. Also incredibly sad. A very easy read. I think nonfiction is kind of intimidating for a lot of people, myself included, but she made it very accessible. Very cute. She has since released another book, which is kind of more like scientific. It has octopus facts for different species and stuff, but I probably will pick that one up. I've been kind of into octopuses recently, which apparently is the correct plural form. I didn't know that before, but apparently it's octopuses, not octopi. But I've been kind of into octopuses recently because they're an animal that remind me of Nagumo from Sakamoto days. These next two copies are the Mandarin translation and the original Japanese binding of the book Exodus to the Country of Hope by Ryu Murakami, which I have because this book is the origin of the word Asunaru, which is the name of the criminal syndicate in the game Your Turn to Die by Non-Kadai. I can't read Japanese, so that one's just for collecting purposes. And then I've been struggling through the Mandarin one a little bit, but at some point I got bored because the writing / translation of it is very dry. And it's not like the most fun thing to read, and it's kind of a little bit depressing because it's a social commentary written by the author criticizing the way that adults kind of can destroy the lives of the next generation of children by devastating the economy. This one's kind of set against the burst of the bubble economy in Japan in the early 2000s. And the way that kind of impacted the lives for elementary and middle school children of that era. And unfortunately, that is once again relevant to the current political landscape. So it's kind of like it's been a downer. I put it on hold for now. I don't know if I'm ever gonna finish it. But like, I enjoy the sentiment. Like, the sentiment is good, but it's definitely kind of a satirical critique. The next one is a bind up of some of Nietzsche's works. This one, the White Book, is a poetry collection that was a gift from a friend. It kind of is themed on a mother's poems / letters to her unborn child. This next poetry collection is Wendy Cope's Serious Concerns. I bought it solely because it contains The Orange, which is my favorite poem of hers and is also the most popular poem of hers. You've definitely heard it before, no question. This next one is an English copy of The Little Prince, which is my favorite book of all time. This is a chapbook by a poet on Instagram called Lily Rain, called Not Crying for Help, Just Crying Out. I really love her poetry because I feel as if poetry is one of those things where there's a limit to how much I can understand of it if people get too pretentious. It means a lot to me when I can, like, kind of at the very least suss out what's trying to be said in poems, and I think she writes fantastic sad girl poetry, so it's nice to own a copy of that. The next book is Morpho's Fat and Folds. This one is kind of a drawing how-to book, but I mostly just have it because I love how cute and small it is. It is so adorable, it can fit in your hand. These two are novels that I finished recently. So Mickey 7, this is the novel which the movie Mickey 17 is based off of. Having read both of them as well as the sequel, Antimatter Blues, both are, I would say, pretty decent. But I'd honestly just watch the movie because you get to see hot people like Robert Pattinson and Naomi Aki in it, who plays Nasha. Emphasis on the Nasha. Like, after seeing her in person, yeah, I understand. I understand, Mickey. I understand. And then this one is Sister Maiden Monster. This is kind of a post-apocalyptic body horror book. Going into it, I didn't realize that by post-apocalyptic, they meant zombie COVID. I don't know about you, but I really just do not want to read about COVID right now. Like, it's not COVID, but they talk about COVID, and it very much just feels like COVID. This one wasn't bad. It didn't really scare me. It did gross me out a little bit, but that's not typically what I look for in horror books. I don't want to just feel ever so slightly 5% uncomfortable. I would prefer to actually, in some ways, be made scared of the real world after reading the book. I just don't feel like I took too much away from it, so I would give it like a 4 out of 5 stars. Moving on to the manga side, this is the first box set of the Pokemon Adventures manga. This is an incredibly nostalgic series to me, which is why I have it. I used to have more box sets, but I unhauled them because I realized I'm really only ever gonna read the series for the nostalgia and for Mato's artwork, and she only illustrated the first part of the series, so this is the adaptation of the red, blue, and yellow games, and then I think she illustrated 2 volumes of the gold and silver games. It's nice to have like this little box set, so I'm happy with what I do have now. This is the Japanese physicals of the most recent 2 Hunter x Hunter arcs, so the Dark Continent preparation arc as well as the Succession War arc. A while ago I made some videos kind of diving into more details of Hunter x Hunter, and then one of my commenters asked what had been changed in the Japanese to English translation of certain pages, so I just decided I'll buy them and take a look. I'm not fluent in Japanese, so I don't know if it's gonna add anything particularly, but sometimes it's nice to have just a point of reference. These 2 are the English and Japanese copies of the Your Turn to Die manga adaptation. Do not read them, they are very bad. I would not recommend. The next one is the official Your Turn to Die Joe light novel. This one is an alternate universe, so it is not canon to the story. This one's a physical bind-up of Non-Kidai's Twitter 4-coma illustrations for Your Turn to Die. A lot of these are like comedy jokes in nature, very humorous and very cute. I would recommend this one. The one after that is the Chapter 3, I believe Part 2 demo disc for Your Turn to Die. So this came out before that update came out, and it's kind of a CD with a playable version of some kind of intro to the game on it. I've considered getting rid of it because I hate that it has Midori's face on it, but I just gotta keep it for completionist purposes. The next 2 volumes are English Your Turn to Die fanzines, where English artists drew pieces for the series. One of them is the All Year Round zine, which is kind of themed on the seasons, and the other one is the Epilogue zine, which has a more vague theme, which I still to this day do not know. Like, I messaged the moderators when the zine first got announced, like asking what exactly Epilogue meant in the context of Your Turn to Die, and I think they said it had to do with it being the epilogue of the characters' story arcs. Some of the pieces in the zine are just normal fan art of the game. I guess in that sense, by epilogue, they just mean the entire game of Your Turn to Die, because in a way, a lot of the characters in the game are dying, so it's like the end of their story. So I guess the entire game is just an extended epilogue to their lives. But yeah, those are the 2 I kept. There was another English one, which was like a Kai themed zine, but I got rid of it because I'm not a fan of the ship of Kai, Sato, and Midori from Your Turn to Die. I think that's so crazy. There wasn't enough Ranger content in that zine to justify me keeping it, so I just got rid of it. These next couple are the remnants of my Japanese Your Turn to Die fan books. I got rid of a large chunk of them. That honestly might change in the future, but that's just what it is at the moment. These next 3 fan books are from the same Doujin circle, but they're of the relationship between the characters Asmodeus Alice and Aruma from the manga series Aruma-kun. They have a very cute relationship. The only way that they could make this better would be to add Clara into it because it's not a duo, it's a trio. This next one is a Fate Grand Order fashion magazine that surrounds / is focused on this one character, as well as his pale whitish color themed character foil. I don't know this character's name, and please don't tell me because Fate's a series that scares me so much. It has the exact opposite problem of Your Turn to Die, where there's no merch. Fate has too much merch, and I can't get obsessed with this character because I would be spending like all my money. I think I told this story last time, but when I first got this book, one of the things I did was kind of search up the character to see what other kinds of merchandise and stuff he had available for him. And I clicked onto my figure collection, the page where you can kind of track all his content. And I clicked on, and the very first thing that popped up, it just had to be fate that the figure was coming out at that time. But the very first thing that popped up, my first impression of this guy's merch catalog, was this alter scale figure that was easily like $500. It was massive. It was a scale figure. It looked gorgeous. But yeah, that was kind of like the universe telling me like, hey, if you get into this guy, you're going to be spending several grand on his merch. So I just kind of like backed out. But he is very pretty and I loved his character design. This next book is a fan fiction and comic anthology of the ship between the characters Geeta and Rika from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I actually don't ship these two characters. I don't see them in that way. However, Geeta is my favorite character from the game, and there is essentially zero merch of her alone. The only time people ever draw her and make fan books of her is when she's paired with another character, whether that be Rika or Larry. So there's some pretty cute Geetas in here, and it's pretty chunky as well. These next couple are larger trim size, so this one's a Elite Four from Scarlet and Violet fan book, and then this one's a Rika Thirst Trap fan book. I just need a Geeta one of those and my life will be complete. This one is the physical edition of the Your Turn to Die participant reference book. Is a like tiny volume, but it was so incredibly expensive, and I think it goes for like over 100 on the aftermarket nowadays, which is insane to me. Like that's a little too much, but was I at one point in life willing to pay that much for a copy before they did the re-release? Yes, so I can't fault people too much. I'm just ready for the doll version, which the creator of the game said he was going to make. I don't know if he's going to make a physical of that edition. Honestly, he probably would, seeing that he made like a physical of the first edition. I'm still waiting. I want my fun facts on the dolls. And then this last one on the shelf is a Mandarin manga magazine. So Shonen Jump is a Japanese manga magazine, and then this is a Mandarin one. It's kind of fun because if you look through it, you can kind of compare and contrast how manga magazines are printed in their respective countries. Like the Shonen Jump one is black and white photo book paper, incredibly chunky, and the mangas in it, they fill the entire page. And then this one, it's full color, way thinner, staple bound, and then the manga that are in it, they're like shrunk, so more of them can fit on a page, which makes it thinner. I don't know if I have a preference, but it's kind of cool just to have both of those. I have a couple volumes of Japanese manga magazines like the Shonen Jump issue, but I don't consider them part of my collection because I've been slowly gutting this one for paper to like wrap stuff with. Just the paper quality and the way it fills up too much space. Moving on to the main bookshelf, we're going to start on the bottommost shelf and then work our way upwards. So this first shelf is the rest of my manga collection for the most part. On the far left, we have the 3 volumes complete run of Giant Spider and Me. This is a post-apocalyptic cooking aishike manga. Very heartwarming, very wholesome, just kind of cute. And also the main character reminds me of Sarah a little bit, just in design, and it's very sweet. My Dear Friend Nokotan was a gift from a friend. This is kind of slice of life gag comedy high school manga. The next volume is a shoujo cookbook, and then after that we have the first volume of the original Trigun run by Dark Horse. Trigun's pretty good, but I definitely think I would get more out of it in anime format, so I just need to find some time to watch it. Kagura Bachi, this is the first 2 volumes. My thoughts at the moment: it's good, like it is, but it definitely is a little overhyped. My main issue is with the art. I feel like the author struggles a little bit with dimension and same face syndrome in his art style, though that is something that can improve with time, and I don't think this series is at risk of being axed at any point. The next 3 are my CDs at the moment. So we have the first 2 chapter OST CDs for the soundtrack of Your Turn to Die. I'm just missing the 3rd one to complete the collection, but they haven't released it yet. So I guess we just gotta wait however many years, and believe me, it will be years it takes for the creator to finish the main game. Guts by Olivia Rodrigo. This is a Target exclusive edition that my friend gifted to me one year because she was in her Olivia Rodrigo phase. This next volume is a Japanese and English bilingual edition of The Little Prince. This one kind of cracks me up because if you'll notice, there's a red extra dust jacket on it that's Christmas themed, and The Little Prince is not Christmas themed at all whatsoever if you've read the story. And for some reason, this dust jacket is about half a centimeter too small to actually fit the book. And this edition of the book is not a Christmas themed spin-off or anything, so I'm not sure why it has this dust jacket, but I guess it's just like a little collectible thing. Beneath it are the first 7 volumes of Magus of the Library. This series is extremely underrated, though I will say I'm not caught up completely, and one of the volumes that came out recently has a character on the cover whose design I am not a fan of, and I'm sincerely hoping that's not going to be exploited in any way in the series because the creator of the series had a previous series that contained a lot of fan service, and I don't want to see fan service of this character, okay? But of what I have read so far, it's very good. It's easily at least 4 out of 5. I'd say the first volume can be read as a standalone 5 out of 5 volume, but it definitely places emphasis on education, reading, and the value of diversity to a society, and unfortunately that is something that is once again relevant in the current landscape. So yeah, definitely recommend at least the first volume. It's incredible. At the very least is a standout in contemporary manga. Alright, so moving on to the horizontal section, we have my larger sized volumes of manga. So this is volume 1 of Kaoru Mori's A Bride's Story. This manga not only is in hardcover, which it definitely deserves because the artwork is gorgeous, but it's also a seinen series. So you gotta definitely go into it with a little bit of reading comprehension ability, but definitely worth it, even if you're just looking at it for the art. So good. It's just so beautiful the way she draws. It's incredible paired with the paneling, the sense of dynamicism, and the detail is just so good, and this manga artist is incredibly inspirational to me. A Vampire in the Bathhouse is a one-shot rom-com about this hot vampire guy that crashes into someone's bathhouse one day and decides he likes it too much and he's not going to leave. It was very cute. I kind of wish it was a series so we got to explore the main relationship a little bit more, but I definitely could see this series or this one-shot getting a continuation sequel at some point, at least one more volume. On or Off Work-Life Imbalance is a cross-dressing / subverting gender expectations manga. I did enjoy it, though I will say this volume of manga is very clearly half the size or less of a standard volume of manga, and it's the same price or more expensive. Yeah, that's kind of, with inflation, that's not something I super want to encourage companies to start doing. It's definitely getting a little bit out of control. Tokyo Fears Rhapsody. This is a series that I blind bought from my local Second and Charles just to kind of check it out because the cover looked like it would be something up my alley, and indeed it is exactly my taste in manga. It is a battle action comedy manga, so very similar in tone to Kaiju number 8 and also pretty similar in premise as well. The concept of this one is just that this half kaiju kind of monster guy that was genetically engineered to wipe out humanity is dropped on Earth to do his job, but then he tries ice cream and he meets humans and he decides, hey, this place isn't that bad after all. Like, why don't I just slack off and hang out on Earth? And one point that I found super funny about this series is the main character's dad is this mad scientist guy, and he's definitely like an older character, so why does he look like a hot twink? It reminds me of a little bit of that meme that's like the soldier with his arms out protecting the kid sleeping on the bed, where the kid would be the main character and then the soldier protecting him from sexualization would be the father because he's taking all the sexualization for him. It's so funny. I definitely enjoyed this a lot. If you like Kaiju number 8, give it a shot. Just silly, wholesome fun. The next one is The Color of the End Volume 1. My favorite anime of all time is Girls Last Tour. I enjoy post-apocalyptic series a lot, and this is another one of those series, so I thought I'd give it a shot. So far, it hasn't really hit for me, but I'll definitely give it a couple more volumes to see. To Your Eternity. This first volume very easily could be read as a standalone 5 out of 5. It's pretty much a perfect first volume to get into the concept. Since I've read this volume, I have read a couple more volumes of the series. It's been a little bit of a slow process since I've been getting these from my library, and I have to wait for the holds to come in, but it's still been pretty good, though I wouldn't say the next 2 volumes after the first volume are to the same level as the first volume. I'm kind of nervous of where the story is gonna go, but I think what they managed to capture in the first introductory volume of the series is perfect. It definitely made me tear up, and there's some beautiful themes for sure. This one is a random volume 7 of Dorohedoro. I love Kyu Hayashida's work. You'll see I have some of her later work higher up on the bookshelf. I haven't collected the entire series because I'm waiting for them to make some sort of deluxe edition or box set or something, and I feel as if this series has the potential for it, especially since they're working on the next season of the anime at the moment, which the anime is amazing. Absolutely, please watch it. It's such a fun series, and the characters are incredibly endearing, especially if you like girl boss characters. Nikaido's a gem, as well as Noi. Definitely give this a shot. And I don't think me waiting for deluxe editions is crazy, as we'll talk about later in this video when I get to the other series by this creator. The next volume is Sheep Princess in Wolf's Clothing. My friend gave this to me because she said the sheep character reminded her of MC, my kind of original character. and that she does, I gotta admit. The next 2 volumes are solo leveling volumes, which I also got gifted as a present. This volume is a one-shot that's very sapphic, POC, called If You'll Have Me. I follow this artist on Instagram and I love their artwork, so I definitely wanted to pick this up when they dropped it, and it is very cute. Highly recommend if you just want a little fluff to brighten up your day. The next volume, well, the next 3 volumes are graphic novels that I got gifted by a friend one year because they heard that I was trying to get into them. So Pixels of You is very strong on the aesthetic, a little rushed on the rest of what it's trying to convey. Mooncakes, this is sapphic as well, definitely more aimed at like a tween audience, I'd say. And then this is Nimona, which is the basis graphic novel for the Netflix movie that was animated and going around a couple years ago. I've seen both of them. They are a little bit different. I did enjoy both of them, but I'd say maybe the movie's like a little bit of an easier way to digest the story, so it might be worth it to check out that one first. This next volume is also a graphic novel, but it's more of like a children's book, Aquicorn Cove by Katie O'Neill. This author creates kind of like children's picture books with slightly sapphic vibes, definitely aimed at a younger audience, but I did enjoy the artwork for this. This is a Mandarin edition of The Little Prince, and the one next to it is the Tokyo Ghoul Re-Illustrations art book. In my previous video, I had this one plastic wrapped because I had picked it up from a convention, and I was like, I just bought this because there's definitely some Suzuya artwork in it, but I don't feel the need to open it. Well, one day I got bored and opened it, and it was definitely worth it. This book, if you just crack it open and flip through a couple pages, you will very easily see that Sweet Ashita is not normal about their characters at all whatsoever. They love the characters in their series as if they are OCs, which by definition, yes, but you kind of know what I mean. Like the way they draw these characters and explore these characters, it's not in the same way other shonen mangaka would draw and love their characters. It's kind of a little bit different. There's definitely a little bit of extra additional brain rot there, and if you just look through it, you can kind of see like this is the type of stuff that incredibly talented individual artists on Tumblr or Twitter or Instagram would draw their characters in their own free time. Like, these drawings are not drawn as if the artist is on a time crunch or on a payroll type thing. Some of them are, obviously, their color pages or their products. For example, there's like this whole little spread where Sui drew these playing cards themed on Tokyo Ghoul characters. I feel like I don't have to explain it anymore. Just by looking at it, you can kind of tell what I'm talking about. They have all their like little thought processes and stuff for each piece, and that's exactly what I want in an art book. So I would highly recommend this one if you enjoyed Tokyo Ghoul Re, or even if you enjoy pretty artwork and just looking at art books. That one's really good. The next volume is Blam by Tsutomu Nihei. This series is so good. I've only read the first volume, but I can already tell once I finish this series, I think it's 7 or 8 volumes, it's easily going to be in my top 10 manga of all time. Tsutomu Nihei is a fantastic artist, and the amount of detail he puts into the backgrounds of the series is quite possibly inhuman. At some point in time that he used to be an architect before he became a mangaka, and I can definitely see that. I haven't collected the rest of this series because I'm waiting for some kind of hardcover definitive edition or box set or something, and I think the series also has the potential for that, so I'm just kind of patiently chilling, but they're a large trim size and they're very good as well. I would recommend them. The next two volumes are Dorohedoro Artbooks. So the orange one is the sketchbook art book, which contains some of Kyu Hayashida's sketches and concept work for the series. And then the black one is the official Mud and Sludge art book, which contains a lot more colored pieces and the finished illustrations. Highly recommend the Mud and Sludge art book. It's fantastic. I said this last time, but it's very rare that you would describe an art book as in character for a series, but this one is most definitely in character. It's fantastic. The pages have different textures and colors. There's like little inserts that you can pull out and look at different pieces of artwork. Even the cover's kind of textured with a cool unsealed design, which gives it a slightly grungier feeling. Top notch. If you like the series, definitely at least get the chance sometime to flip through it. The next volume is the Omnibus Complete Collected Edition of what's out so far of Clover by Clamp. Clover is one of the first manga series I ever read back in middle school. It is one of the series that got me into manga as a medium and inspired me to start drawing and continue drawing and creating. That being said, there are definitely some issues with it. I think the strength of this series is easily the artwork and the world. It is a post-apocalyptic set series following these characters called Clovers that have psychic powers, and how many leaves the clover has shows how strong their power is. And the main character for the first third of the series is the only character in the entire world that they know of that is a 4-leaf clover, and the imagery and atmosphere Clamp captures in this work, unmatched, unreal, unmatched. It's beautiful, it's inspiring, it's haunting. My number one issue with Clamp as a group exists pretty strongly in this work, which is Clamp does not know how to write romance, and I don't trust them to write romance. They have a massive problem with some of the dynamics they romanticize, and I honestly don't think they're held responsible enough for it, seeing that a lot of their work is targeted toward a demographic of young girls. That's a conversation that I don't think a lot of people are ready to have, because it's this whole thing where Clamp is nostalgic to them, but I think it's pretty important. The next volume is this super slim single issue of the first volume, or I should say the first issue of the Demon Days Mariko run by Peach Momoko. I did have this last time, but I think I forgot to show it because it's so thin. But this is the first issue of comics I believe I've ever read, and Peach Momoko's art style is gorgeous. This is what got me wanting to read more comics. And since then, I have read a couple more volumes. I'll talk about some of them in 10-20 minutes in this video. The next 3-4 volumes are Japanese, so this one is a Nendoroid doll school uniform sewing pattern book. This one is a wagashi cookbook. This one is a knitting pattern book, which they're definitely beyond my skill level at the moment, but I'm trying to slowly improve on my skills. And then the last one on this shelf is a Japanese elementary language workbook. Moving on to the next shelf, this is my TBR shelf. If no more books fit on this shelf, I can't buy any more books, and we're pretty rapidly approaching that point, so honestly I should probably cut down a bit and read some of these, especially since there are a lot on here that I would like to read in the immediate future, including the first one, Butter, on the bottom here by Asako Yuzuki. This one was making the rounds a while back, and it perfectly hits all my interests kind of in fiction, so I'm hoping that it's good, and I desperately need to read it ASAP. The next one above that is Life on the Outside. This is a non-fiction memoir about the US prison system and how ineffectual and unjust it can be. The next two are about health disparities in the United States and the healthcare system in this country, which is quite infamous. I definitely need to read those as well. Those are more like textbook nonfiction. The one above it, I actually have considered unhauling this, so I might unhaul it at some point soon, but I originally got this one for a reading video I wanted to make where I would read books whose titles contained the plants which the characters in the Scarlet and Violet Elite Four's names were based off of. That's very long-winded, but when you like a character, that kind of makes sense to you. So this one had Laurel in it, which is for Larry, but the first book I read for that video was Paprika, which was for Rika, and that book was so bad. That's the book that inspired Satoshi Kon's movie Paprika, which is quite good. I did enjoy that, but the original book Paprika was so bad that it threw me into a reading slump. It was so absurd, and not in a good way, that I burst out laughing at the climax of the novel, which I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that was the intended response. There's definitely would not recommend that novel. Edgar Allan Poe's Tales of Terror and Madness. I got this because it contains the story The Fall of the House of Usher, which is what T. Kingfisher's What Moves the Dead book is based off of. His writing is definitely a little more challenging, so I haven't found the time to sit down and read it quite yet. The next couple books with these little yellow and red clearance tags are from the discount bin at my local Second and Charles. They were $1 to $3, so I just picked them up because they sounded interesting. This one is The Soul Thief. I'm actually not sure what it's about. The one above it is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. This is a horror classic, which I would also really like to read soon. Quicksand and Passing by Nella Larson is an important contemporary fiction classic. This one is Postcards from No Man's Land. I believe this one is a war novel, and then The Unfinished World above it is a collection of sci-fi short stories. Sky Full of Red Poppies was also from that Elite Four video, which would be Poppy for Poppy. This one actually looks pretty good, so I think I will still read this one. The Journey is also from the discount bin. This might also be about war, I'm not 100% sure. This copy of Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None I originally bought to gift to someone, but I wasn't satisfied with the quality that it came in, so I just ended up keeping it. And then at the very top, this little green thing is a photo card storage binder, but instead of photo cards, I keep business cards in here. The little cards that artists give you when you purchase from their independent shops. Moving on to the horizontal, this copy of I Am a Cat. It's one of those Japanese healing books. I originally got it because I thought it would be in Japanese, but it's actually in English, which that's fine, I guess. It just means I can read it even faster and just power through it. This copy of Ryu Murakami's Coin Locker Babies, I'm about a third of the way through, but for some reason I never finished it. This is a copy of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit, and then the other green one beside it is 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I've heard extremely good things about this novel. It's been recommended very highly, so I definitely need to get to it as well. James Tiptree Jr.'s Brightness Falls from the Air. I mostly bought this one because I wanted to read something by this author, but that is such a lovely title for a book. This next one is Susanna Clarke's Piranesi. I've definitely heard interesting things about this as well. It kind of intrigues me. Kafka's Letters to Milena. I've started reading and annotating this, but it's definitely just like a collection of short letters, so you don't have to read it all in order. And all of them are pretty much Kafka being down bad for this woman, so it's kind of like you know what's going to happen throughout the rest of the story. I've read like their backstory, their nonfiction real life backstory. This next volume is kind of interesting. It's a random secondhand volume of Apocalypse Meow, which is a manga about rabbits fighting Nazis in World War II. I can't decide, like, I can't tell if it's a tasteful depiction of societal commentary or if it's gonna be kind of problematic. Haven't read it yet, but we'll see. This next novel is Kino no Tabi. This is the only English volume they licensed of the original Japanese multi-volume series which inspired Kino's beautiful journey. I've heard fantastic things about the original light novel, but we don't really have access to the full series in English at the moment, so I thought I'd just give this one a chance. The next one is The God of Small Things, which was definitely a title buy, as well as the next poetry collection, Lucifer at the Satellite. I bought this volume also solely for one poem, but I think I'll try to read through the entire thing. This next read volume is Sabikui Bisco, which is a light novel. I'm trying to read some more light novels before the end of the year and give the genre a shot. Or I guess it's not genre, the type of book. I've read one and then dropped one, and the one I read to completion, my very first light novel that I ever read, was the one about the fish and the tyrant, and let's just say that didn't leave the best impression on me of the genre, so hopefully this one will be a little bit more up my alley. I did see mushrooms mentioned on the back, which is one of the main reasons why I got it, and also I read like a tiny little snippet of it, and it's not too bad so far. I think it's actually going to delve into the concept of micromediation, which I used to be obsessed with in middle school, so that just might be like a full circle moment. I might have a whole episode about this series if it ends up good on other fronts. This novel is a YA sapphic fantasy novel that a friend gifted to me. I don't usually read YA, but the art is beautiful on the cover. She looks very cute. This next novel is Biography of X. I originally picked this up as a blind checkout at my library. I read a couple chapters and it was so good that I just had to return the book and purchase my own copy so I could kind of annotate in it, and the concept is so interesting, but I want to make sure that it sticks the landing before I recommend it. But it's so cool. It's about this widow that writes a memoir about her wife after her death, and I think this has a lot of potential. I'm hoping that the execution is there. These next two volumes are just collection binders, so the big one contains some of my old wall art that I've just kept in storage because of the lack of space, and then the smaller one is a card collection binder. So I used to collect Pokemon cards when I was younger, back when we played the card game with other kids in the neighborhood, and nowadays, now that I'm older, I've passed on my old collection of cards, so I just have like a couple assorted cards in here. There's like a card that a friend gifted to me, and then a Mrs. Magius because that's one of my favorite Pokemon, and then there's a Trafalgar Law card from the One Piece card game, which I don't collect because I don't know how to play it and I don't know anyone who plays it around where I live, so there's really no point. But this is a card of law, and then flipping over we have the Elite Four cards. that were released for the Elite Four for Scarlet and Violet. I'm missing Hassel at the moment because his card was released in a set that came out later. So I don't have him yet, but I will get him eventually. And then these next collection cards are official merchandise. I'm just going to explain this real quick because you probably know what I'm talking about, but in Japan, the manga magazines that are targeted toward younger children often come with like little extra bonuses to incentivize them to purchase individual copies versus just like getting one copy and then sharing it with all your friends. So the manga magazine that the spin-off for Sakamoto Days runs in is one of those magazines that comes with little bonuses. So for one of the issues from 2025, I'll show you the actual magazine later, but I ordered it because the bonuses were these exclusively drawn collecting cards drawn by the mangaka of the spin-off, and I love their art style. So these were definitely worth it, but there's Shin and Pops and Nagamo. I don't know why they put Natsuki in here. I'm like a Natsuki hater. Sorry, don't come at me. Don't come at me. I don't actually hate him. He's just like far from my favorite character. I feel like they could have literally put anyone else in the slot and it would have made more sense. Let's just say the spin-off author knows exactly what he's doing because Natsuki is a very popular character, and he also knows what he's doing in drawing him so much interacting with Shin. It is a fan service spin-off, and I think they do the fan service very well. These next 4 cards are from the first Sakamoto Days X Lawson, which is a Japanese convenience store collaboration set. So this first set was kind of milk themed, but all the characters were wearing blue aprons and stuff because that's the Lawson signature color. I loved all of them, but I kind of had to limit myself, so I went with Osuragi, and then I later picked up Pops as well. One of the things that's like so funny to me for Sakamoto Days is that they'll do fat Pops and skinny Pops in the same merch series as if they're 2 different characters, when we all know which one's superior, and that's fat Pops. They don't even need to bother with skinny Sakamoto, honestly. But yeah, these are so cute. They're kind of like thick collection photo cards. And then behind those are some printouts that I have from the Sakamoto Puzzle Gacha game. It's a mobile game, and it has like these little cards of the characters. Whoever draws the art for this game, like whoever comes up with the concept, are so goated. Like they know exactly what fans want. Because tell me why Osuragi's maid dress looks like that. Like, yeah, you get it. And then also Old Man, Mr. T, his birthday suit, he has like full strings of pearls around his neck. You know he's the goat when he's wearing that. It just makes me so happy when there's like a passion from the staff for a series that I enjoy. So moving on to my favorite shelf in my collection. This is my current interest shrine shelf. It's looking a little bare / mismatched at the moment because a lot of the Sakamoto Days figures which were announced have not yet released in the States. So what I have pre-ordered at the moment is the Fat Papa Sakamoto Noodle Stopper, which is still my #1 most anticipated figure all year. It just makes so much sense for both the character and the series that he's a noodle stopper figure, and I can't wait to have him in my hand. I just know he's gonna be so chunky, and that makes me incredibly happy. And then I also have the Nagamo sitting palm figure ordered because I think that's probably his best looking figure, at least from the prototypes so far. I'm waiting on an Akao figure, ideally a noodle stopper or like a sitting figure, to complete my trio because they should not be separated ever. But until they get there, we have Hunter x Hunter plush in the corner here. In front of her, we have a little Gengar Pokemon Center JP Online Poké doll. and in front of him is a medallion souvenir coin from the aquarium, which is stamped with a giant Pacific octopus, which is my favorite species of octopus. I've kind of been having a little bit of an obsession with them recently. The 2 volumes in the back are the first 2 physical volumes, Japanese physicals of Sakamoto Holidays, which is the Sakamoto Days spin-off. I purchased the first volume back before it got an English license, but I'm so excited that it's gonna be licensed in English and we'll have it because the scans are incomplete for the English translation at the moment. So it's so nice to know that we'll have them officially. This little plushie is of MC from the game Obey Me. She is so cute, and I honestly have no idea where my friend got this, but man, am I happy to have her. These 2 little cards in front are photo cards of fan-made photo cards of Katseye members. This one on the left is Megan and the one on the right is Sophia. This was my first time ever decorating, so that's just putting stickers around the frame for them, and they did turn out a little bit janky, but I won't lie, they're kind of cute. They make me happy. I had this Power from Chainsaw Man themed sticker sheet and it kind of fit perfectly for Megan, so I put a lot of those on there. Moving behind, so this is my current collection of Sakamoto Days like books, spin-off books, and fan media. The first 2 volumes are the official Sakamoto Days first 2 light novels. So one of them is Killer Method, and I think the other one's something to do with Hitman Blues. This volume is a fan book of Shishiba and Yotsumura, and this big chunky one is the spin-off magazine that those cards came in. I actually kind of like this one. It's a little bit higher quality, just slightly, than your average Shonen Jump volume, and the size is very cute. It's very small and chunky. This is the magazine that the spin-offs run in, so the Sakamoto Days spin-off, the One Piece Party spin-off, the Kaiju number 8 Chibi spin-off, all that good stuff. Alright, so we're moving into my fan book collection. In front of it's a little figurine that a friend got me. So fanbook slash doujin I think have kind of a negative connotation in the West because the first thing you think of is smut, which that is possible, and I do own some R18 books nowadays. I'm not going to show them in this video because YouTube, but the term fanbook and doujin, it just means fan-produced manga, essentially. I love it when fans take the time to incorporate their own ideas into a character story and explore things that the source material might not have had time to explore. This is probably my favorite thing to collect, especially in Sakamoto Days, where I'm a big fan of most of the pairings for the series, unlike for my previous interest, which was Your Turn to Die. For some reason, people just could not act right with those characters. I think it helps that most of the characters in Sakamoto Days are adults. Starting off, we have a couple Shin and Natsuki doujin. This one's just like a Shin and family fan book. This one is incredibly depressing because look at the front cover and then look at the back cover. Yeah, they did that on purpose. They knew what they were doing. These next ones are anthologies, so they just contain some little short comics about the order. A lot of them are humorous in tone. This one is a Nagumo and Shishiba novel, actually. I think this one's actually R18, but since I can't read Japanese, that's not an issue for me. I got it because the cover's cute. These next ones are also Nagumo and Shishiba. This one's just Lu and Shin as a family. And then the next couple are cellophane wrapped for their own protection. We have like a bunch of assorted ones in here. Another Shishiba Yatsumura. A lot more Nagumo and Shishiba, the order in general. And then moving on, these ones are taller doujins. I really like the aesthetic of these ones. They're by an artist that loves to explore unrequited love. Painful, but I will admit it's compelling. This one's super sad. JCC trio stuff and all the pain that comes with that. This one's a Shishiba full color art book, so there's no comics in this one. It's just pieces of artwork. And then these are also Shishiba and Nagumo fan books. Both of these artists are really good. This one in particular makes like some R18 ones that I would definitely recommend. I like the way they explore Nagumo and Shishiba's relationship. They kind of touch on the parts that are more complex emotionally about it. And then this last one at the end is a art book by Sato. I would really love to own their Doujin / comics books. But for some reason they sell those on a different website than all the other circles post their doujin, so maybe one day I'll own some of them, but for now I just have their art book. If you're not like super kept up with the community, you'll notice that a lot of these are of two pairings, which are Natsuki and Shin and Nagumo and Shishiba. They're not actually my favorite relationships from this series. I'm kind of partial to Kamihate and Osuragi, which I just think it's so funny and it's also so cute. And then I also love Nagumo and Akao's relationship a lot, but these two relationships represented here in my collection are very easily the Japanese community's favorite relationships to draw content of, so you'll be pretty hard pressed to find content of any other relationship. Occasionally there may be one or two, but it's pretty rare. Moving on to the top shelf. The shelf contains my favorite volumes from my entire collection. If I had to move and I could only take like one box of books, the books on this shelf and the last shelf would be what I took. So in the front here we have a little ceramic llama that one of the gremlins gave me as a gift. In front of it are two Suzuya Juzo buttons that I have wrapped up because they're more valuable to me than gold. The Tokyo Ghoul re-ended a long time ago, so here in the States it's incredibly difficult to find merchandise of the characters from the series. Suzuya is one of my favorite characters of all time. The way his character arc was written is so good, and I found it very impactful and also very hopeful. So especially black-haired Suzuya, just seeing him makes me so happy. A friend gifted me these and I can't even pin them anywhere. I'll just set them here and stare at them. In the little llama planter is a custom keychain plush of a cow from Sakamoto days. This was before she got official merchandise at all because she wasn't animated yet in Core 1. So one of my friends commissioned this from like a creator on Etsy, and it is definitely one of my most prized possessions. She's a little fragile, so she's sitting here, but I did take her to an aquarium earlier this summer, and yeah, I have some good memories with her. Behind her is a little earrings case, and on the shelf behind them, these are the Your Turn to Die zines that I made myself. So the one on the far left is one of my prized possessions. It is a hardcover bind-up of all of my doll writings and doll fan art that I did over the course of about 4 years of being into these characters. So it contains a lot of memories and a lot of stuff that both makes me cry and laugh. There's gifts from friends in there, like artwork they drew of the dolls. There's comments that people wrote about how I characterized them, like feedback and interactions with the community. It makes me so happy. This is the only physical copy of this that exists in the wild. And also after my hard drive crash, I think it's probably the only version that will ever exist because I lost my original file for it. The next two are paper zines that I made for Your Turn to Die. So the small one is Deadlock, and it's one of those zines that you make by folding a single sheet of paper, and you get 8 pages out of it. And then the bit larger one's Liev, which is kind of a concept exploration I did of Safalin, Ranger, and Miley's relationship, which is my favorite character dynamic of that series. The yellow one at the end here is my published Your Turn to Die fan book. I do one day still want to create a volume 2 of it, which would be more focused on the dolls, but for this one I put in a lot of effort to make sure every single character on the cast of Your Turn to Die were included in there at least once, and I'm still pretty proud of it to this day. Like, it took a lot of effort, but it was worth it. It's so nice to be able to hold it and just say, like, hey, that's something I made. It's kind of satisfying in that way. I see it, you see it. Die Dark is the next series. Easily one of my favorite manga at the moment and of all time. I love these characters. I love the themes of friendship in this story. If you have read Q Hayashida before, it's more of that same good stuff. It has the same theme as well, which is that life can really suck and it can be unfair, but as long as you've got friends by your side, it's still worth living. And I think that's very powerful. I love the character of Shimada Death in here as well. They're an agender embodiment of a concept, which is really fun. I don't think you see that in a lot of series, but Q Hayashida does it in a way that still doesn't take away from the stakes. It's so much fun. And I think I talked about fan service not being great sometimes. Well, this is a series where I love the fan service in, because the author actually makes you care about the character that she does fan service of. It's in character for the character, and it's also not like problematic. I don't know, it's just so fun. I have the box set here, the first one, and then I was planning on getting the second box set for the series because volume 8 came out recently, so they should be announcing the second box set soon. But recently at Anime NYC, Dark Horse announced they're gonna actually be making deluxe hardcover editions of Die Dark. Die Dark getting deluxe editions before Dorohedoro is crazy. Never would I have imagined or thought of it, but now I definitely got to consider whether or not I want to replace my individual volumes with the deluxe hardcovers. I'm hoping the decision I come to is not that I just need 2 copies of the series, because I really do like the singles. So we'll see how it goes and how the deluxe editions look. The next one on the shelf is Hunter x Hunter. This is volumes 33 through 37 of the English edition, which collects the most recent 2 arcs of the story. Hunter x Hunter is just peak. If you want to use your brain cells a little bit but still enjoy a shonen, this is the one for you. It's just so good. And right now it's in a death game arc, which is one of my favorite tropes in manga. So I definitely want to continue my Hunter x Hunter reading in depth series. But at this point, I would need to reread the entire series, which I am willing to do. It just might not be until at least Sakamoto Days has completed, because my current interest in that series has me in a little bit of a chokehold. The next 2 volumes are the JJK light novels. The first one with Yuji on the cover is really fantastic. I believe these are canon to the source material, and you definitely need them to kind of flesh out the world of JJK a little bit more. Like, sometimes you just need a breather from the action and the chaos, and I think these are really good for that. The Mahito story in the light novels, it's so amazing. Definitely recommend. Also, the one with Yuji and Nobara and Megumi just hanging out. This is my complete collection of Sakamoto Days in English, the physical editions. So far, we're at volume 18 in English. We're a little bit behind the Japanese, but I just love this series. Like, it's so good. The writing, saying that Suzuki writes would be the overstatement of the century, but who cares, because the battle scenes are really good. The art's good, the characters are fun, like it's just an enjoyable ride. If you like battle shonen, if you like comedy, it's perfect. The next 2 volumes, these are also unique. You probably won't see them in people's bookshelves or at all really, but these are physical bind-ups, volumes 1 and 2 of my collected Sakamoto Days fan fiction. They are character explorations, alternate universe explorations, character dynamics, and also a little bit of spicy content. I kind of love the way they turned out. The pink one is the first volume, and I wrote the entire thing in about 2 months. And then the blue one is the second volume, which took about a year to write. It's just very satisfying to see physicals of the kind of stuff you create and know that, hey, you've written a lot. Maybe one day you could possibly write a novel or something. I put Lou on the spine of this volume and then Aoi on the spine of the second volume because the series is ending soon, and I highly doubt, in fact, I would say it's pretty much impossible that they would get a spine for the manga, especially since Pops and Shin now have 2 spines each. And the final series of manga in my collection is another shonen series. This one's called Tank Chair, and it is also a battle manga. I would say the first volume is an easy 5 out of 5 standalone. If you read it as a standalone, you will love it. It will be perfect. The rest of the series, there was a pretty large plot twist recently, so I'm hesitant to recommend the entire series until I see more of where it goes. I'm kind of reserving my judgment on the main bad guy of the series at the moment, but the fight scenes, the concept, the character designs, they're all exactly up my alley. The story follows these 2 assassins, one of them a young girl and the other one her big brother, as they go around hunting people because he was in an accident that renders him paralyzed, except for when people direct bloodlust at him. That's when his body kind of instinctually wakes up, and he has the few seconds while he's killing the bad guy to kind of interact with his sister again. Otherwise, he just kind of sits in his wheelchair and goes catatonic. So they're trying to figure out a way to help him get back to himself permanently while going around hunting bad guys. And it's very good, and the concept is fascinating to me. I think it has a lot of potential, so I'm quite excited about it. Kind of last part of the room. This is my little wall grid. On this grid, it's not completely filled out, but there's a couple things on it already. So this one is the first Polaroid I ever took with a Polaroid camera. It's of the inside of a CVS pharmacy, and I don't know why it turned out so creepy, but I love how it looks. These are stickers of a cow and Nagumo that a friend got me, as well as this collectible card that came in the first set of Sakamoto Days collectible wafers. It kind of... So this friend told me that they stood there in the convenience store and bought and ate the wafers one by one until they pulled the card, the only card in that set, which contained a cow on it. And I don't remember how much they ate, but it was definitely over 10. Like, they ate so many wafers. If you're watching this, if you ever need a kidney, just call me. The little keychain hanging over it is from the Lawson collaboration. So this is the Osaragi Lawson collaboration keychain. She's so cute. I got this one because she looks kind of yandere. If you ever made Osaragi jealous, she would literally tear off your arm. not out of maliciousness. She would be like, no, he's mine. And then she would tear you to the side, and she would be so strong that she tore off your arm. So never cross her, but she's so cute. She's like offering you chocolate milk or something. This cow photo card was drawn by one of my other friends. This was at a point in time where a cow didn't have any merchandise, so she made me a whole bunch of a cow merchandise, including that a cow plushie, as well as these a cow square keychains and these a cow buttons that I have on this board. She also drew this birthday card with a cow on it, and somehow talk about it afterwards, but god damn, I love her. She's so cute. She even decoed like the outside of the photo card for me because I don't know how to deco photo cards. And this Bachira little rubber clip is also from her. One day I'm going to try to fill up this entire grid with a cow merchandise, but for now, here's where we're at. In the basket below, this thing is kind of modular, so I got some baskets to clip on it. So this first basket, I just keep my expo markers. The second basket has some random Sakamoto Days merchandise in it. This calendar also came in that issue of the magazine with the bonus cards in the spin-off, and there's some little Sakamoto Days. I don't know why Pops is in like a banana cat costume, but it's so cute. And then there's some random acrylic charms of Sakamoto Days characters that were given to me by a friend. In the back here we have some Hunter x Hunter sticker sheets by Pemprika. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them yet, but I definitely think they're too pretty to use, so they're just in here for now. Hanging from the hook is an anteater plush keychain from the same friend who ate the wafers. I recently convinced them to read the entirety of Sakamoto Days by saying they reminded me of Nagamo. So I'm sorry for torturing him a little bit here. This is his Jump Festa official merchandise, like a little plushie guy, but also I rotate him in my brain in a glue trap constantly. He's just so funny of a character to me. And in the basket we have Sakamoto and then a cow. This is them in their high school uniforms. I just looked down at my recording and it's over an hour. You know, it was always gonna be this way. I won't even kid myself. There's no way this was gonna be shorter than an hour. But I'm not gonna stop there because I want to show you the stack of merchandise and books that's accumulated since I started planning to film this video. These will go on the bookshelves, which are going to change the shelves, but that's fine. It's a continuous work in process. Starting on the bottom, these are some comic books. This one is Poison Ivy, the first volume of her current run, The Virtuous Cycle by Wilson. This is, I think, a pretty good place to start with Poison Ivy. You don't really need to know a lot of stuff. I am missing some context for the start of the story, but it's been pretty good and understandable so far. The artist that does the covers for this series is cracked. Like, they cook so hard every time. They honestly sell the series because the artwork on the inside, obviously it's not going to be the same quality, but a lot of people cover buy, and the covers for the series are gorgeous, hands down. Like, I would not get alternate covers. No, you want the main covers. This volume is a Poison Ivy alternate universe one-shot story. I think it is probably gonna be the #1 easiest story to read for Poison Ivy. It's an alternate universe and you don't need to know anything about the main story or even the character of Poison Ivy before you go into this book. It's self-contained and it's very well written. I also did try to pick up the one-shot alternate universe comic Harley and Harleen, but after reading it I just realized that it was kind of a little juvenile for my taste. It was very good, don't get me wrong, but it's very clearly for a tween audience, so I returned it and exchanged it for Veil by Katori. This volume of manga is drop dead gorgeous. It's full color. This is the series where that one iconic meme that everyone was redrawing a couple years ago came from, the one of the woman on the billboard that's red and then the man kind of staring out at her. Definitely a very iconic author. This is volume 1 of Mafia Aruma-kun. I keep up to date with both the original series, Aruma-kun, which is currently ongoing, and the spin-off manga. This one is a Mafia AU, and it is incredible. I love the character of Aruma here. The spin-off creator does these characters so good. So in character with so much love and with a little extra like stakes that it's just a must read if you're an Aruma fan. Also, I adore the character of Opera, and they get like a slightly larger role here, so top-notch stuff. I'm so happy this was licensed in English. This entire stack is more Shishiba and Nagamo fan books. I'm not going to get too into depth, but this one creator, Empty Mind, is really good. One of them came with this extra postcard, and then there were a couple extra stickers that I ordered. These are like fan book extra goods that you could order separately, so I just got a couple packs of stickers of Shishiba and Nagamo. These are some CDs. This one on the bottom, this first one, is a copy of the album Otogi by Eve. This is my favorite Eve album, and it contains my favorite Eve song, which is This World to You. Just gorgeous music and so haunting. The music video is beautiful. This next one is by Wirtz. This is the album Evolution, which contains the song Borders, which Wirtz collabed with Sakamoto Days for before the series even got an anime adaptation. A lot of fans were thinking that Wirtz would do the opening for the first season of the anime, which didn't end up happening, but I'm very happy to have this copy of Borders. It feels like a piece of history nowadays looking back. Next one is a single. It is the CD of Cotton Candy's, or I forgot what the ending for the first core of Sakamoto Days is called, but it's their ending. They didn't have just the CD, so I had to get the deluxe edition, but I don't mind. The cover is very sweet, of the main family. And then this single is Croy's Method, which is the opening for the second core of Sakamoto Days. This is a single as well, and I love that it has Sakamoto's face on it. This one at the very top is the coolest CD that's come out, and the coolest one easily in my collection. This is Vondi's Run Sakamoto. It is a CD, but if you'll notice, they packaged it like a DVD, as if it was one of those DVDs that you would find at an old convenience store with all these discount stickers and everything on it. Just so cool. Run Sakamoto is not my favorite song of the series so far, but the love that the music artist has for the series is just unmatched. The fact that, one, he dresses like Shin, which is so funny, but two, like, you can tell he was so hyped about this project. There's so much effort put into this packaging, and he even made like a bonus song for the series that they put in the first core randomly. I will say, I think he blew his load a little too early on the bonus song, because it's about the order and it's called Somebody Help Us. The first core of Sakamoto Days is very wholesome and fluffy, and you don't really get to see that darker side of the assassin world and of being an order member until like probably 10 books into the series. So definitely a little early for a song called Somebody Help Us, but the passion is very respectable. I will commend him on that. I have a couple extra Magic the Gathering postcards that I need to find somewhere to put, because my art wall is pretty much max capacity right now, but I'll figure out somewhere eventually. I did get one more Fat Papa Sakamoto keychain, so I'll probably put that on the grid as well. But that is... I think finally we've reached the end of the collection. So thanks for watching. I had a lot of fun rambling about all the things I like. It will be kind of interesting to look back on this in a couple years and see just how much things have changed. Like, will I still be into Sakamoto after it ends, or am I going back to my ex of Your Turn to Die because that game's actually not complete yet? And I feel like if the creator drops new content, I might get hooked back onto the series. If you don't keep up with the Steam updates for Your Turn to Die, SKDY has released a preview of a new character who will be a doll. The dolls are like the antagonists in that series and my favorite characters, so let's just say I love her a lot already. So much so that I have like a placeholder name for her in my brain, which is Diana. But I can't wait to meet her in the actual game whenever the finale comes out. I might be into that, or I could also very well see myself getting back into Hunter x Hunter. It just depends, but I don't think I'll ever regret where my collection is now and the things I love now. I'll see you next time.